Now, the biggest complaint about the Panasonic GH5 was, as we all probably know, the autofocus. Now, we still have the same type of autofocus, that's saying the contrast-based autofocus. The 4 days that I have been using this camera, and basically I've been using this camera with the 20-25 and 25-50 Panasonic f1.7s, and honestly I'm quite blown away by the autofocus working very, very nicely. I haven't compared it to anything else like the Sony a7S III, but this is probably by far the best autofocusing camera that Panasonic has ever made, and I have been doing quite a lot autofocus testing with this camera, and honestly did miss here and there, but when being standing and moving around a little bit, I didn't have any problems at all, as you can see in the footage here.
Unfortunately, a lot of people would say, and shooting with a Sony camera, of course, I really love the autofocus, but Panasonic is saying that the reason why they are staying with the contrast-based autofocus is gonna be that they won't get any artifacts on the image. And look, now in this video I'm trying to check the autofocus, how it's working. I have tried out the autofocus indoors, and I think it actually works quite fine. It's not going to be as accurate as, or it's actually accurate, but it takes just a millisecond more than my Sony's. I haven't tried them side by side, but I know that they have been working quite a lot. Now I will post this whole video just to show you how the autofocus is working. Is it pulsating somewhere? But I think there's, at least if you compare it to any other Panasonic camera, this is probably going to be your best camera. And what they've done with the contrast autofocus is really great, because they are promising us a really clean image, which nobody could probably say anything about that, because Panasonic cameras tend to have really nice image coming out from their camera. But let's see how the autofocus is working. So just to tell you guys, I'm using the Panasonic 10-25, and it's quite a big lens to be a micro four thirds lens, so you probably have a lot of glass moving around in there. You probably would do better using another lens, but just see how the autofocus is working. So I'm gonna go out from the frame and just see if the autofocus will get back to me, and if it got like the students behind me. So the autofocus test. How is it looking? What about if I was moving with? How's the autofocus now? You probably see that I have a lot of water here, so I won't run back, but how is the autofocus doing? So I got back. One thing that Panasonic cameras always have been able to do is actually to find your face. The problem before has been they can find your face, but can they actually attach the focus to your face? So I can see that they are finding my face, and hopefully I'm in focus, but that's for me to see when I get back. Now we have a lot of options when it comes to going into managing your autofocus. You can put limits to your autofocus, should be close, should be way back, or whatever you want to do. Right now I'm just using the autofocus straight out of the camera with no adjustments. Also I'm using I think all the focus points all over the sensor, which probably is going to be a harder thing to attach. But yeah, this is the autofocus on the Panasonic GH6. I'm quite confident it's working with static people, so when I'm sitting like this I can actually see once it requires me it will stick there. If I also move a little bit it won't be a problem. But yeah. So for me it's a clear improvement from the Panasonic GH5, the S5. S5 was actually quite good, not as good. Also the S1H is also quite good.
Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, tested by the motion.
So basically all the footage that I've been shooting with Panasonic GH6 has been in autofocus. So I'm really looking forward to see on the computer if everything is in focus. I have been looking at some footage, basically more or less the footage from the studio, and that's been very much in focus, so that's really nice to see. I wasn't actually expecting that because of the contrast detect focus, but it looks to be all in focus. As I said, everything today has been shot in autofocus, so seems to be in focus, so really looking forward to see how it looks like. And guys, another thing that I would like to say, if you would like to download some footage from the Panasonic GH6, there's a link in the description for that, so you can go in and just download them from Dropbox.
So if you're a YouTuber and you like to shoot yourself, this is probably going to be the first camera that you really can rely on when it comes to autofocus. And these 4 days that I've been using it, it has actually surprised me quite a lot. And this was something that I wasn't expecting when I heard that they were still doing the contrast-based autofocus. So from now on, you could use this as a vlogging setup camera if you would like to, or use it for talking heads. It will find the face and eyes perfectly.